You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports, and guys, I need a favor. We are just over 200 subs from reaching 2,000 subs on this channel, which is an amazing accomplishment. And we should get there very soon because, guys, pretty disappointed to say it, but it's also a good thing because it shows that we can make this channel absolutely huge. 80% of you guys that are watching these videos are unsubscribed. So let's change that today. If you're watching this video, help me out. Go down and hit that big red button. If you want to stay up to date on everything surrounding the Giants, from news, trade rumors, and mailbags like we're getting into today, where you guys ask me questions and I'm answering them. So let's get into it. It's mailbag time here on Giants Now. Mailbag time here on Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I asked you guys to send me questions on Twitter, on my community posts, and in the comments on a couple of videos, and I picked the best 6 to go on today's show. First one coming up from Only a Giant, 1978. Should the Giants trade for Deshaun Watson? Looks like we will have 2 top 10 picks in the upcoming draft. And that's true, Only a Giant, because the Giants, they have their own first-round pick, which will probably be a top 10 pick by the way the season is going. And they also hold the Bears' 2022 NFL draft pick due to the Giants trading down in the 2021 NFL draft, where they eventually selected Kadarius Toney. If I'm the Giants, I would stay away from Deshaun Watson for now, during the season. But if he gets cleared up, all his legal stuff off the field, if that gets cleared up into the offseason, and the Giants, and if they're not sold on Daniel Jones, which, I mean, if you go 0-3 for 2 years in a row, and it looks like the Giants have a really tough schedule coming up, so they could be entering this or starting the season off possibly 0-10. We'll get into that schedule coming up soon. I would revisit a Deshaun Watson trade this offseason. You have 2 first-round picks, which are going to be top 10 picks in the 2022 NFL draft, and you also have 2 third-round picks and 2 fifth-round picks coming up. So you have the draft assets, and in this league, it's a quarterback league. And if you add Deshaun Watson to this team should be able to compete for a playoff spot. But this show, it's not all about me. It's about the interaction between us two. So get down in the comments and get your votes in. Be honest. Should the Giants trade for Deshaun Watson? If you think they should, go down in the comments and type Y for yes, I want Deshaun Watson wearing New York Giants blue. Or if you want the Giants to steer clear and avoid at all costs trading for Deshaun Watson, go down and type your N for no. Next on this Giants mailbag, we got a question coming in from my guy Flagspin. You're always in the comments on every video. I really appreciate that, my brother. Is the Kadarius Toney pick already a bust? That's a good question, but I don't think it is yet. It is way too early to tell if Kadarius Toney is a bust. I mean, when you look at the stats through the first 3 games of the 2021 NFL season, I can understand why some people may think it's a bust. But he had a troubled offseason. He didn't get to practice as much as he should with the New York Giants. But I think that this is the week that Kadarius Toney will bounce back and get the touches he needs to flourish. Sterling Shepard, he's out with a hamstring injury. Darius Slayton, he's also going to be out with a hamstring injury. And last week, Kadarius Toney, he played the second most snaps of all Giants wide receivers, right behind Kenny Golladay. So this is the week that I think Kadarius Toney is going to be utilized like he should be. Joe Judge, he talked about it and was asked about Kadarius Toney earlier this week, and he said it. We got to get this guy the ball more, because it's obvious. If you watched last week's game against the Atlanta Falcons, both times that Kadarius Toney got the ball, he made magic happen. He made guys miss, and he turned a negative play, which in that screen pass, which should have been a negative play, where he got contacted behind the line of scrimmage and do a gain of about 8. He is just special with the ball in his hands, and the Giants and Joe Judge and Jason Garrett, and specifically, need to find ways to get him the ball more, and I think this week against the Saints is the week he will do that. This next question coming in from Mike Curtis. Also, I appreciate you, Mike. You're always in the comments. You were featured last week on our preview against the Atlanta Falcons because you answered my question about keys to the game. So appreciate it, my guy. This week, your question. How much input does Freddie Kitchens have for the offense? Been hearing his name brought up a lot. And that's because the Giants, he is one of the Giants' offensive coaches. He is one of the only coaches on the staff that has play calling experience. And with Jason Garrett, it's not Jason Garrett's play calling that's a problem. It's his scheme and his philosophy. It's outdated and it does not work. But how much influence and say does Freddie Kitchens have? From the people I talk to, Absolutely none. This is Jason Garrett's offense. He gets to call what he wants, and he gets to run what he wants, and he gets to design plays and come up with game plans the way he wants. Joe Judge, he trusts Jason Garrett to get it done, and that might be a problem because he hasn't been getting it done, fellas. The Giants offense, they rank since he has joined this Giants team 31st in 17.7 points per game since Garrett has been the OC for the Giants. That's just terrible. Bottom of the barrel. I am ready to move off from Jason Garrett, but I don't think Freddie Kitchens is the guy. But if he is fired, Garrett, that is, Kitchens will be the guy that's called up to be the offensive coordinator. Last year, when Garrett missed the game because of COVID, Kitchens got to play calling duty. So if that happens, and if Jason Garrett gets fired, expect for Freddie Kitchens to be the play caller. Guys, get down in the comments and spam it for me. If you want Jason Garrett fired, type FG, fire Garrett. Get down in the comments. We've asked questions about Jason Garrett before, and they have been some of the best videos when it comes to interaction between me and you guys. So I want that train to keep on rolling. So if you want Garrett fired, go down in the comments and type FG. My guy, another question coming in from one of my faithful fans and a fan of Giants now. Hey, it's Franklin, Arrow Frankie. He sent me this DM on Twitter. We're always chopping it up on Twitter. He asked me this: which GM should we hire? He's already anticipating that Dave Gettleman is going to get the boot. We've talked about that a couple times between us. But these are the four guys that I've been hearing about in a list that I put together that I think could be four of the guys that could be on the list. First up, Jeff Ireland. He is currently the assistant general manager and college scouting director for the New Orleans Saints. Ireland, he's been with various teams as the vice president of college and pro scouting. He was with the Cowboys and then became the Dolphins general manager from 2008 to 2013. The reason I think he could be a potential hire is because he has ties to this New York Giants organization, and that has always been a key when the Giants, they hire personnel and decision makers. Ireland and Bill Parcells had worked together previously in Miami when Parcells was the head football operations boss for the Dallas Cowboys. So he has ties with Parcells, who is a Giants legend. Next on this list, Louis Riddick. Riddick, he interviewed for the Giants GM job back in 2017 when they hired Dave Gettleman, and he is just the hot name that keeps on coming up when general manager positions get brought up. This is a guy that I think could be a good fit for this New York Giants team. He has ties in the division. He was the director of pro personnel for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team, so he knows the makeup and the landscape of the NFC East, and he shows that he is a smart and up-to-date guy. So I think Riddick is definitely in consideration. Next on the list, Brian Zanders, the Los Angeles Rams senior personnel executive. He was the general manager of the Broncos from 2009 to 2012, and when he was there, he drafted Von Miller, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Zane Beadles, Orlando Franklin, Eric Decker, Danny Trevathan, Derek Wolfe, and Malik Jackson. He is a great drafter, and he is great at finding talent at the college level. When he was then moved and he was a part of the Lions front office, he drafted guys like Ezekiel Ansah, Darius Slay, Larry Warford, and Theo Riddick. This is a guy that I really am a fan of because he has been a part of the movement of the new philosophy that the Los Angeles Rams carry, and that's trading high draft picks for proven players. That's something that I think will be a new norm coming soon in the NFL, and I am a fan of that strategy. The draft, it's a crapshoot, and you're essentially buying a lottery ticket when you draft someone in the NFL draft. And if you could trade those assets for proven players, why not do it? The Rams have been doing it, and they have absolutely been killing it. And then kind of a hot name, kind of one that doesn't make all that much sense, and there's not that many ties to the Giants organization, but Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is now one of the bottom half paid coaches in the Big Ten, and I think Harbaugh, after being with Michigan for a while, wants to get back into the NFL. Harbaugh, he's proven he can lead quick turnarounds. When he was with the 49ers, who missed the playoffs for 8 straight seasons and were below 500 for 7 times before he got there, He arrived and promptly, in his first season, turned them around as the head coach, and they went 13-3 and made the playoffs. He also has connections to Alex Smith, who I think is a very good comp for Daniel Jones. He's worked with Alex Smith, and he's also worked with Andrew Luck. This is a guy that I think if the Giants hired him, he would bring them back to prominence and be a respectful hire. So, guys, if you want to get your questions on the show for the next New York Giants mailbag, you can hit me up on Twitter like my guy did right here. You saw the link during the last graphic, at @MarshallGreen_. If you want to hit me up on Twitter and give me a follow, I would greatly appreciate it because I'm trying to grow my Twitter profile, and that's only going to happen if you guys hit me up. And I got a deal for you guys. The next 10 people to hit me up on Twitter and give me a follow and let me know that you're from this video. So send me a DM so I don't know it's from it, so I know that you're coming from this video. Let me know, and I will feature you guys on the next show. That is a guarantee. Next question coming in from my guy Brian Valentino. Do you think the Giants will start 0-10? The schedule was ranked like the hardest in the league. I saw that. The Giants, they have one of the toughest remaining schedules in the NFL. And Brian, we're pulling up the Giants' upcoming games, and it is tough. I want you guys to know, when are we going to get our first win? This week against the New Orleans Saints, I think that might be our best opportunity if you look at the games coming up. Then you got to travel to Dallas. They are playing great, and they look really good. Then the Rams, they have to come to MetLife Stadium. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, that's a really experienced team that has looked locked in so far this season. That's going to be tough for the Giants. Then the Carolina Panthers, they are undefeated. That was supposed to be a gimme game, but with Sam Darnold and Joe Brady, they are humming on offense, and that's going to be a tough game as well. Then you got to travel to Kansas City and play Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Then right after that, you have to play the Raiders, who are undefeated and look really, really good with Derek Carr humming and John Gruden having this team playing as a unit. Then you got to face off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. This schedule, it does not get any easier, and that's why I said last week on our Falcons preview, this is a must-win game because these next 7-8 games are really, really tough, and there's no gimmies. So get down in the comments, guys. Be active for me. Let me know. You just saw the upcoming schedule. When will the Giants win their first game? I'm really curious to hear from you guys about that. The comment section on the past couple of videos has been lit. There's been a lot of interaction between me and you guys. So let's keep that going. Let me know. When will the Giants get their first win? This next question coming in from my guy Alzo. Is offensive tackle Isaiah Wilson signing a sign of desperation move by Joe Judge? Too many red flags with that guy. I agree. This guy essentially, because of his own actions, he found himself out of the league after less than a year of being drafted in the first round by the Tennessee Titans. He was on the COVID list twice. He was arrested. Just so many things troubled this guy off the field. But the thing that never gets denied is talent. And it sucks, but that's what Isaiah Wilson has, and that's why he is going to be in the NFL for another chance and get chance after chance. I mean, when you look at this Giants offensive line depth chart, you'll see why the Giants, they signed Isaiah Wilson. Because we are absolutely terrible across the offensive line, and we are thin. There is only 2 healthy backup offensive linemen heading into Sunday. That being Wes Martin, a guy that they just signed off of the practice squad, and Matt Peart, the backup right tackle to Nate Solder, the 3rd-round draft pick last year out of UConn. The starting offensive line this week, it's going to be Andrew Thomas, Matt Skura at left guard because Ben Bredesen is dealing with a wrist and a hand injury, so he's out. Billy Price, he's going to be back at center. He's been terrible since the Giants have traded for him. He was obviously terrible before the Giants traded for him, and he's been more of the same since wearing that Giants blue. Will Hernandez, he'll be at right guard. Nate Solder, he'll be at right tackle. I'd like to see Solder get benched for Matt Peart because when it's your second year after being a 3rd-round draft pick like Matt Peart was, it's time to get on the field. So the question you asked, Alzo, it's kind of one that you should already know the answer to. This Giants offensive line is absolutely terrible, and this was a signing by the Giants in Isaiah Wilson that was going to hopefully be a lottery ticket for Dave Gettleman because this Giants offensive line is in worse shape, honestly, than it was before when Dave Gettleman took over. He came in, they said he was going to fix the offensive line, he was going to get the hog mollies in here, and it was going to be better, and it just hasn't been. Dave Gettleman, you haven't fixed the offensive line, and now you're being desperate. Guys, that's the end of this New York Giants mailbag. We will be doing another one just like this, and if you want to be a part of it and you want me to answer your questions, you got to subscribe. So go down and hit that big red button to stay up to date on everything surrounding the New York Giants. And if you want your question answered on the next mailbag, remember, you got to be subscribed, so go down and hit that big red button.